Opinionated and now caffeinated. Wake Up Warchant is fueled by DeLuna Coffee. Come explore our world of coffee. Founded in 2014 by the Lennox family, Ed, Courtney, and their son, Brett, DeLuna Coffee is Florida State through and through. The pursuit of the perfect blend of coffee beans is a 365-day effort for the family, but they'll always find time to tailgate for their Noles in the autumn. Stand at attention for their red, white, and brew. In honor of armed forces, the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard, DeLuna has created this fair trade organic blend. Enjoy this premium French roast coffee and salute to the good old USA. Use the promo code WARCHANT15 for a 15% discount. Visit DeLunaCoffee.com and check out their Facebook and Instagram.
From Tally to Cali,
it's time
to wake up.
Wake up, wake up, wake up. WarChant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee.
Coffee's for closers only.
Now here's WarChant.com's Azan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark.
What's up, everybody? It's Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee. DeLunaCoffee.com. Come explore our world of coffee. Go explore that bundle. It's still going on. You get the tumbler. You get a bag of red, white, and brew, 12 ounces. And some chocolate-covered espresso beans, over $55. $40 over at DeLunaCoffee.com. Warchant.com. That is the ultimate Seminole sports source. Promo code's Warchant30 for 30 free days of access. Try it. You will like it. And hit the thumbs up if you're listening to us on YouTube. If you're on iTunes, perhaps a 5-star rating and a subsequent review is in order. I was a little bit nervous earlier today, Corey, or rather on Wednesday. Had the drywall guys here doing some work, and the guy comes to me. He's like, hey, man, sorry, we knocked over a cup and it broke. And I'm like, what? I don't have any cups in the room other than these awesome I got 2 tumblers. I've got one to enjoy my DeLuna out of, which, by the way, the cold brew, it's like you just do it at room temperature. You just put like a cup of grounds, 4 cups of water, and then you're just good to go after 6 hours.
Okay.
But nonetheless.
So is it cold or is it just not hot?
That's the thing. You brew it at room temp, but then you can put it in the fridge, and then you take it out of the fridge, and it's cold.
I see what you're doing. Okay.
It really is, man. People are like, come on, Aslan, enough already. I'm telling you, though, it really it's a game changer for me, at least for me, because I actually enjoy the coffee. It gives me a little bit of pep. But then if it's 110 degrees outside, I don't like putting 125-degree fluid in my body. But anyhow, the guy's like, we broke a cup. And I'm like, oh, no. I'm like, there's no way. And I came in here. It was a coffee mug that stores all my dry erase markers that I use to write notes down during the show, like keep telling Corey he's awesome, tell him he's doing a great job.
Right.
Lift his
positive reinforcement. So, yeah, there's no way they could – what would you have to do to break a DeLuna tumbler? Do you have to run over it with a car? Those things are indestructible.
Hummer. Probably a Hummer only.
Not even a real – it has to be a car that weighs like multiple tons.
Yeah. Hey, Wednesday was a nice little sort of – I think it was exhibition football almost. It was preseason football for sports writers at least. We got / 5 newcomers / freshmen?
5 freshmen.
By the way, I noticed this after it was all said and done. I'm sure you probably noticed because, again, you're Corey Clark. They gave us the kids in alphabetical order. Did you realize that?
Oh, I didn't notice that. No, I didn't.
Yeah, the way you do something is the way you do everything. It was like, all right, so.
But they didn't give us the kids on the freshmen on the incoming freshmen in alphabetical order. They gave us the 5 that they chose for Wednesday in alphabetical order.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Like the 5 kids we spoke to, they, usually it's like, all right, well, this kid's got class or something, or maybe they just, whenever they can find a kid, all right, we'll go grab him and we'll throw him out there. But like this was, I think it wasn't on accident. It was on purpose. Like we're going to throw him out there in alphabetical order. Hashtag details, hashtag organization, hashtag over 5.5 wins this season. I thought the best part was so there's 2 great threads right now. There's a great thread on the Tribal Council that's entitled the top 10, and this is from the Warchant Top 40 that we did. The top 10 predicted players is embarrassing. Go read it. I think it's a good thread. I like it. There's some pointed criticism that's fair, and for about 5 or 6 threads until the Sunshine folks come in there and start overthrowing tables and getting everybody upset.
Like our rankings are embarrassing, or the fact that those are the top 10?
The latter. That wasn't personal criticism of us. It's just kind of like, hey, this is where we're at. Then, people that don't like people pointing that stuff out.
7 of the 10. 7 of the 10 are transfers.
Yeah.
And all the top 5 are transfers.
Yeah. The author used the adjective castaway, And everybody got upset about that. Like, how dare you call these kids castaways? And it's like, you guys call Jimbo a cuck every other day on the tribal council. We're clutching our pearls over castaways. But nonetheless, I then juxtapose that against what we had on Wednesday. Shout out Austin Cox taking over the Corey Clark mantle of, well, actually, no, you still do the live transcription on the tribal council. I apologize. Corey was killing it per usual. But George Wilson from South Carolina, outside linebacker, defensive end, I think he said Fox is where he's going to probably start off at, came in at 189, and he's reported at 189 on the Seminoles.com roster, Corey. And everybody obviously is like, good grief, man. That's not
really small for a defensive lineman. I agree. I agree.
Where you want to be. But he did tell us that he's already over 200 pounds. Now, I think he's 6'4", 6'5", so we shouldn't get no victory laps here, but there's a plan in place and it's in progress and it's going well. And then you take all this time to meticulously hammer out all the details of all these interviews, and then there's like 3 people like, gosh, I hope that was a typo. That's not a good thing. I thought the same exact thing. Folks, he's over 189. He's over 200 pounds. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Well,
you're starting from a really like a defensive end. You're not maybe in the position right now at Florida State where you get the ready-made 245, 255 guys that can burst off the edge. Yeah. You got a guy that's, wide receiver size that you hope in 2 years can be 240 pounds. Yeah. That's the hope, right?
Right.
Because you ain't playing at you're not playing at 200 as a defensive end, but I don't know that you expect him to play in 2 months. If he's playing, something's gone horribly wrong. But you hope that he can put on 25, 30 pounds of muscle in the next year and then do it again the next year, and then maybe you got something.
Yeah. Well, maybe you could be like a Geno Hayes, like a special teams at least terror. Yeah. God rest Geno Hayes.
Geno Hayes turned into a real, like a defensive terror there for a while, but you're talking about his first season.
Yeah, I mean, because Geno came in a
little... He could even be like a
Toshman
Tashmon Stevens.
Ooh, there we go.
Remember
Crescent
my man,
City.
number 96?
Crescent City, let's go. Where are you at, Toshman?
I think he did some things on special teams, if I'm remembering correctly. He never made much of an impact on defense, but it's hard. The odds of coming in at 190 and being a productive defensive end, to me, are pretty low, but it has happened in the past. It's just that body type, man. But you never know. Some kids, when they get into a nutrition program and a real weight program, their body can take on 50 or 60 pounds, legitimately 40, 50, 60 pounds of muscle, and they can transform their body and still keep most of that speed. So that's what you hope with this kid. It's all about projection with him.
Yeah, man. Put the weight on. Change your body type. It's possible. And again, man, I think he's going to help out on special teams, at least year one, defensively. But that it kind of does. I don't want to get too far into it. But again, there's not a lot of depth in the front four. You'd like for guys to be ready to go. He probably won't figure into the plans, but such is the road that you have to huff when you're 3-6. But nonetheless, they've got the number 3 recruiting class. Everything's going to be better. Shaheem Brown, we also spoke to from Lake City. I thought the highlight of him was talking about he's fine hitting people, like playing safety. You have to be violent. I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
I like that a lot. Byron Turner from New Orleans. I just like the accent. That was extremely. There's just swag that drips out of you when you got that New Orleans accent.
Yeah, he sounded like Ogeron.
No, come on. He wasn't.
I know. Yeah. I was just hoping you'd do. That was your chance to do your impression.
Coach Storm's a great guy, great coach. Appreciate everything he's doing for me right now. That's what Byron Turner said, not Ogeron.
Right.
It says he wants to be at 250 or 255 when the season starts. That'll play. That'll hunt, right?
Yeah, and what I wrote about, because I wrote about that afterwards, is everybody, all the other 4 kids, when they were asked, like, what's your, how close are you to it? They all said, well, I'm right now I'm this, and I got this to go. They were real specific, and he was essentially like, I'm just going to work hard and I'll get there, which was the answer they all want to hear. He's going to work hard till he gets there. But they were all asked because that's you don't have a ton to ask freshmen when they've come in and they haven't really even practiced yet. So you do want to, all they've really been able to do, I know they've had some player run stuff, but all they've really been able to do is either watch film, playbook, or get in the weight room. So that was, that's the predominant story, is just how much bigger they're getting in the transition from high school weight rooms to college weight rooms and nutrition. And it sounds like they've all put on weight, good weight, you think. So yeah, there's not too much you can get out of 5 kids that haven't practiced yet. And I'll be honest, I'm not going to mention a name, but there was one name that I was not familiar with out of those 5. But I learned he seemed like a nice kid. They all did. It's fine. Yeah. But yeah, so it's that's where we are with Florida State football right now. As far as like looking for excitement, we got a month to go. I wasn't saying like that's where we are, just a bunch of guys we haven't heard of. I didn't mean that. I meant more like we're in early July.
Yeah.
We're taking what we can get, and we're making do with what we can. By the way, shout out real quick, and I'm only saying this. I know I'm completely derailing the show. Former Florida State Seminole John Nogowski. Played first base at Florida State. He got traded to the Pirates and has played the whole series as the starting first baseman against the Braves versus the Pirates, and has 6 hits.
What in the world? Baseball.
Yeah,
Weird.
he's out hit Freddie Freeman, and I say that because right now, and I'll transparency, we're recording this on Wednesday afternoon. He is now pitching against the Braves because the score is 14-3. So Nogowski is getting work on the mound.
Hashtag Jamie Shoot product. Or was Mike Bell here when he was here?
That's right. Yeah, I think he was Shoop. I don't remember him pitching much. He might have pitched a little bit at Florida State. I don't remember that. But, man, it's really cool. This Nogowski, I think his last year was like Jameis's last year. I mean, it was 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And, a lot of guys give up, rightfully so, when they're almost 30, and they still haven't really made a dent in the major leagues. He got called up to start the season, got 1 hit in like 19 at-bats until Goldschmidt got healthy, went back to AAA, and now here he is getting a chance at the a real chance at the major league level to start and play. And he had 6 hits and a walk in 3 games and just got an out on a ground ball to second. So maybe he's going to be the next Shohei.
Yeah, let's go, man.
And I'm not going to say what his number is. You guys go look up what number he's wearing for the Pirates. I'm not sure what's going on there, John. Love you. But, hey, man, more power to you. I'm rooting for you. I hope you have a great rest of the season.
Okay, nice. And then wrapping up the quintet that we spoke to Patrick Payton out of Miami. Came in around 210, says he's gained about 10, wants to be at 230. That can hunt. That's good. And then Chambray Jackson out of the greater Orlando area is already at came in at 255. Thinks he's put on about 5 pounds inside, outside. All possibilities on the table for him. Lots of grinding. He's like a big grinder.
He liked grinding. He said that a lot. Maybe he's a DeLuna fan. I think like only 2 of those guys, maybe even 1, you feel like he's got a set position. The other guys could be doing a couple of different things, right?
Right.
Yeah, Nogowski just worked a 1-2-3 inning.
All right, Corey, focused. Football.
Sorry. I mean, that's good for John Nogowski, man. Way to go, John. 1-2-3 inning. Good work, buddy.
Everybody was also asked about NIL, and people on YouTube not happy about it. So everybody wants us to pay the kids, but God forbid you ask the kids what they think about getting paid. Hold on, just real quick. One guy, the gentleman asking all these freshmen about likeness and making money needs to shut up. Another guy, why the hell are you asking an incoming freshman about money? Another guy, stop asking these kids about that damn NIL blank. Let them focus on important stuff. Follows up with NIL is the only question that clown can ask these players.
Well, now there is validity there because I'm not calling Matt Baker a clown, but that was the only question he asked was about that. He did not get good answers because there's no good answers. These are 3- and 4-star kids, right? Mostly 3-star kids. Yeah. As you said, one of them, Florida State was their only Power 5 offer.
I said that in a group text, everybody, in case you're wondering, when did I say that? I didn't say that.
Oh, sorry, correct. And you really probably didn't even say it out loud. You probably just typed the words out.
Yeah. No.
Or you're not one of those guys that talks as you text?
Only if I'm really excited and laughing and like there's something quickly, otherwise, no.
Sure. So, but like, what could they, like I get it with Jermaine Johnson, McKenzie Milton, even Cam McDonald. I'm going to say him every time. Rashad Green, I'm going to go to the hits. It makes sense to ask them. I don't know that guys that haven't made a play yet, all of them answered great. Like, I'm not thinking about that right now. I'm just thinking about getting on the field because that's the reality.
It'd be delusional if they said they were. So it is encouraging that they're like, yeah, but I'm not thinking about it. So
but that's what was odd to me is it would have been even if they are thinking about it, they can't say that. You can't, your first media availability before you've stepped foot on a practice field, a real practice field, say, yeah, I'm really thinking about building my brand.
Hit me up on the gram. Logo. Hit me up on the gram if you can help me out with logo design.
Yeah. That would be that. Like, these guys just want to play, and some of them might be years from even being known by casual Florida State fans. So that's where, that was my only issue, and I don't really have an issue with it. You ask questions, you're working on a story, you're trying to get voices, I get it. It's just that he wasn't given great ammo to work with that story because, of course, those guys haven't been thinking about it. They have no business thinking about it because they're nowhere close to earning money. They could get earning real money off their names because they don't have any at the college level. Like I said, one of them I didn't even know. I get paid to do this. I don't say I didn't know. I had to be reminded. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. So anyway, that was very, very funny. Just the responses, because the responses were great, but you knew pretty early on, this is going to be a pretty fruitless endeavor to try to get these guys. Jermaine Johnson, Keyshawn Helton, guys that have been here a while, have at it. It makes perfect sense because they are going to make money.
Just when you thought the chicken sandwich war was over, it's coming back in a big way with Zaxby's new signature sandwich. It's a double hand-breaded filet, split-top bun, 3 zesty pickles, and if that wasn't enough, it's smothered in Zax sauce or new spicy Zax sauce. That's right, it's such a big deal, we made a totally new sauce to give it the kick it deserves. The other guys won't know what hit them. The new Zaxby's signature sandwich. Have you tried it yet?
And don't forget to listen in for the Zaxby's indescribably good Player of the Week every Monday on Wake Up Warchant.
All right, time for Renegade Express, Corey. Let's hop on these.
Let's do it.
Imaginary ponies that I keep talking about. Let's start with C_Swizzle8. They say, "Wake up!" As I post this, it is 61 days, 4 hours, and 38 minutes until the Norvell era Part 2 kicks off against the Golden Domers. Hope you guys had a nice 4th of July holiday. By the way, we're now under 60 days, Corey. We're less than 2 months, 59 days. Man,
that's crazy. We're getting there. We are getting there.
See what happens when you don't focus? When you focus on the process, like we weren't doing the 145 days. Welcome back to Wake Up Warchant, 134 days away from kickoff. Now it's here. It is upon us. I realize one player does not make bad defense as a whole, but after watching last year's game against Notre Dame, I realize how lucky we are that Jaden Lars would be transferred. Ouch.
Oh,
ouch.
Yikes.
The guy looks scared to tackle. With 45 seconds left in the second quarter, he committed a late hit penalty that put Notre Dame on our 30. That led to a score right before half, extending their lead from 8 to 15. I know him being gone is very old news, but it made me think. In all bold, he goes. What player will benefit or has already benefited the most from him being gone?
Yikes.
Golly, Swizzle, come on, man. Ugh. Jamie Robinson, right? I mean, because that's the role he's filling in, and he doesn't have a high bar to clear either.
Well, no, for sure, but I think he was going to, I'm trying to think of like a guy behind Jaden that is going to play more now. Okay. But I'll be honest with you, Jaden was Willie's guy, and I know that was a big deal at the time because he was a 5-star kid out of California. It seemed pretty obvious to me, I think, that this coaching staff was not in love with him, and I think I don't think they were just going to give him snaps and reps because of his name. I think they had no problem with telling him, okay, man, you're not playing, you're not going to get a lot of snaps for us if that was the case. Does that make sense? I don't think they felt like they owed him anything. So benefiting is everybody that's still here, that's at that position. He's not going to be taking reps from them in practice, but I don't want it to. I guess my point is I don't think that. Let's just use whoever, Brendan Gant. I don't know, whoever. Brendan Gant was going to play, or whoever of that ilk was going to play ahead of Jaden Lars would be if he was the better player. So these guys are, because these guys felt they felt no debt towards Jaden Lars would be at all. They were not going to play him if he didn't belong on the field. So I would say whoever ends up practicing there benefits from it. But, man, good kid, really good kid.
He's at Boston College. That's awesome for him, man. That's going to be a great education to stack on what he already has.
Uniform colors.
Yes, mom doesn't have to go to the bookstore and buy more gear.
Yeah, it's all the same color, these days. But yeah, so good luck to him. I wouldn't say that. Well, I'm not going to say he was afraid to tackle. I mean, he was, but he was
coming off a pretty devastating injury.
Yeah, he was,
man. So
yeah, sure, but he was not. He was not maybe the talent that they thought he was. I think that's safe to say.
Yeah. He wasn't probably not a 5-star. I think he'll do well. Watch, he's not going to be Landon Dickerson. I'm not saying that, but I bet you he's going to do good stuff for Boston College. They'll figure out a way to use his talent. It's nuts, man. That Virginia Tech game. I remember coming out of that game, there wasn't a whole lot to feel good about, and I think he actually left that game early, hurt his shoulder, and played pretty much that whole freshman year with an injured shoulder. Then 19, he gets carted off. With an injury, and then 2020 is coming off of it, not even a full year removed for having it. The Virginia Tech game, he had 9 tackles, 1.5 for loss, and a forced fumble, and a quarterback hurry. I remember thinking, and I'm like, hey, man, this kid actually, maybe this worked out, so at least this Tagger guy knows how to recruit. He's got a good eye for talent. At least we have that. But, yeah, you're right. For what Florida State's used to, well, actually I shouldn't say used to, because if we talk about what we're used to with 5 stars, it hasn't really been very fruitful recently. But when you do get a guy that's got that designation, you're hoping for better things, and he didn't produce.
Well, he just didn't have a position, right? They moved him from safety. They moved him up. I don't know if he technically was a linebacker ever, but he was basically playing linebacker. He was close to the line of scrimmage. And, it's just he was a tweener that never really found a position. And the position he did play, he just wasn't all that good at it. He was never going to be great in coverage anyway, so they got him closer to the line of scrimmage. So, yeah, you get more tackles, but you also have to eat a lot of guards pulling. And you have to get out of the way of, you have to beat blocks, shed blocks, and make tackles. And he didn't turn out to be great at that. By the way, I just want to close it out. Nogowski did get another hit in the 9th. So he had 4 hits on Wednesday, 7 hits for the series. And pitched a scoreless inning.
Let us go. Nice. By the way, Jalen Lars would be graded out 33rd out of 37 players on the Florida State roster that were graded on Pro Football Folks. So they just listed
Who was behind him?
Kalen DeLoach, Jaleel McRae, actually in order, Josh Griffiths, Steven Dix Jr., Kalen DeLoach, Jaleel McRae. So we shouldn't throw stones because you're counting on one of those guys, and then another dude people are talking about possibly being depth.
Yeah, but Dix at least was a true freshman, not a third-year player like Woodby was.
Well, he also was healthy. I mean, again.
No, I got you. Hey, I got you.
They got him listed as a straight safety on here, so I was trying to think about, maybe like Jadarius Green McKnight, and more snaps available for a guy like that to get involved. Although I don't know how much of it would be keeping him off and just Green McKnight getting comfortable and familiar. But I mean, Sidney Williams is a guy they listed as a straight safety, and I know. I mean, it's not interchangeable. There's different roles in whether you're playing the money spot or if you're playing free and strong. But I mean, those are I really do think, though, and it goes to C. Swizzle's question, you think that he was afraid or tentative. Jamie Robinson is not going to be, so.
Correct. It's a different sport almost that Jamie Robinson is playing. Now, look, I have no idea what he's like in coverage. His tackle numbers are through the roof. He is a physical dude that loves to mix it up.
Yeah. Next question, let's go down to Naples. Let's go to our guy, Mark. Wake up! It's about AMCZ. M. Adam CZ. I'm never going to get it right. Sorry, man. Glad to hear you boys back on the air this morning. I was having withdrawals, but you guys have hit it hard this offseason, and we need you fresh with football only 60 days away. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for your approval for us taking some breathing time. Which, by the way, should we interject, Ryan? You want to talk about Brady, or should we wait Brady at the end of the show?
Oh, no, it's fine. We don't even have to talk about him. It's just it was a long week at the beach. That's where I was.
Are you going to complain about being on Panama City Beach, like having a house on the beach? You're not going to complain about it.
He had three days where his first game was at 8 in the morning.
Oof.
You got to be there at 7:15, so you got to get up at 6:45. One of those days was 3 games. So as you can imagine, a 13-year-old boy that's swimming and then also playing 3 baseball games. There might be a little chafing that goes on.
Oh.
So anyway, that's my Brady story. He chafed.
Do we get aloe? Do we get talc powder? How do we treat that?
Little monkey butt was up there. Some powder, some paste, some sort of paste. 4 years ago, really even probably 2 years ago, I would go on in the bathroom with him to make sure he did it, or when he's 6 or 5, do it myself.
Yeah.
He's a teenager now, man. It's like, man, go in there and take care of business, and please do it. So I have no idea if he even put it on. He told me he did, so who knows?
Did it hamper him at the plate?
It was a fun. Do what?
Did it hamper him at the plate? Like, I mean, was he ginger running around trotting around the bases after hitting jacks?
No, he ran well. He stole. Okay. He had one of the games they had to keep their season and their tournament alive. They were down. There was 2-2 in the 5th inning, and they play 6, bottom of the 5th. He comes up with 1 out, gets a go-ahead single to right center field. Really good hit, maybe his best of the tournament. It was good, really well done. Then stole second, stole third, and stole home.
What?
Yeah, all in a row.
5-tool, my guy.
Yeah, for sure. So the problem was his coach told him not to steal third, and his coach told him not to steal home, but he did it anyway. So, but what are you gonna do? Brady knows more than anyone, and he was clear. He was easily safe on both of them. So he stole an extra run for him. They ended up winning the game. So, hey, man, good for him.
Columbus wasn't looking for America, but it worked out well for all of us, right?
Absolutely.
All right, back to Mark's question here. As for your top 40, the Warchant staff did a solid job given the difficulty of the task with this roster. Literally, a player close to number 40 could end up being as or more valuable than a guy close to number 1. I mean, literally they could, but hopefully not. I mean, just for my own, I don't want to be that wrong. I mean, I don't lose sleep over things, but I don't want to be.
Yeah, but there could be. It's more about like wrong in the sense that there's a guy in the 30s that has a breakout season that we're not expecting. Yeah. Like if any of our top 10 don't do well, it's going to be, if they don't make an impact, it's almost certainly for injury, except one of the quarterbacks maybe. Yeah. But all those other guys in the top 10 or 12, they're going to make an impact if they're on the field.
Mark continues, I'm concerned that the top 10 is loaded with transfers, but imagine where we would be if we were relying on 11 through 40 to get us 7 or more wins.
Well, yeah, that's well said.
Yeah, that top 10, there's, when I said boom bust potential, like I don't think, I don't know how we would define, Jermaine Johnson, when I said like boom bust potential, I just think we're kind of planting seeds of 13 and a half sacks, kind of stuff. When there's, what if it's just 5.5 or 6?
Hey, baby, it's still double what they had last year.
It is. But to be the number 2 guy on this list, that doesn't probably jibe up to what you were hoping for. That was kind of like my concern. Then I get again in my head and I start thinking about things too much and. Like what's Kirby? Like Kirby's going to really let that guy go? Kirby's really going to be like, all right, man, like I get it. You don't want to do what we want to do, and let's just go ahead and let bygones be bygones. I'm not saying he kicked the guy to the curb, but I don't know how much of a sales pitch he did to keep him around. So then that gets involved in my head. I'm like, man, everyone's going to start, kicking my ass or our ass collectively on this website if he doesn't get 15 sacks. But we can't live like that, right, Corey? We can't live with fear. Nothing to fear but fear itself, right?
Right. The great William Shakespeare wrote that, right?
That's right. On the NIL issue, Mark continues, I'm more for in favor than against. I'm that way too, probably. When I played a Division I sport, this is Mark, everybody, not me, I had very little spare cash. Spent 60 hours a week practicing and traveling to tournaments, and then you need time to study. There was very little extra time to get a job. So if a motivated student-athlete can use any extra time to benefit from their hard-earned reputations in the community, then let them do it and be happy for them. Some may disagree, but these kids in certain sports make their university, television networks, and other corporations lots of money. As always, go Noles, beat Notre Dame. It's hard to argue against it. I understand. I don't have a good foot to stand on. I really don't. But I'm not all that enthusiastic about it. I understand. This Miami thing, that for some reason I'm more on board with than all these sort of lone wolf, one guy trying to hustle for himself. The booster for Miami who runs American Top Team Dojo, mixed martial arts, apparently is going to offer, I don't know, what does it come out to, $5,000? Or
I think $6,000 to each player.
To each player for Miami, I guess to help publicize American Top Team, but then to obviously give all these kids money so they come to Miami and try to bring back the U. I guess that's the website they're coming up with. That to me, like, I'm fine with. I think that's better than player X doing a meet and greet or player B doing a photo shoot holding a logo, or if everybody's going to get like, I don't know, I'm more in line with that. I think I can get behind that more. And I don't want to get too far in the weeds on these things. And I've already said that phrase once or twice already. But like Corey, you were talking about like your fear or the fear that you're hearing from other people is what's going to happen when these kids want a cut of the TV contract. Again, like I'm fine with that kind of stuff. Like to me, that is, all right, I'm a football player. I'm out here busting my rear end. Like, give me money. Yeah, from the TV contract. That makes sense. Like this, the more, I don't want to use this certain word, but just like I'm here, everybody, pay me because I'm here and I'm the big swinging dude around these parts. That stuff to me makes me a little uncomfortable.
All right, that's fair. I mean, it's not like I'm overly excited about it. It doesn't bother me because again, I don't know that it's even going to be much of a huge issue. To me, how much like the backup guard at Miami, what does he need $6,000 for to promote? Nobody, literally zero people will sign up at that dojo because, Joaquin Smith or whoever at Miami tweeted about it. It's just a way to pay these kids over the table. These guys.
If you're a Miami fan in that area, and maybe you've been thinking about getting involved in that, and you see a guy trying to step up and help out your favorite school, then that because it isn't just being like I'm giving the second team guard $2,000 to help out. It's like I'm giving everybody. Like look at me, like me out of my own pocket. I'm giving $600,000 or whatever it is to this football program because I care that much about it. Step up, help out.
There are people that give that kind of money.
Screw them,
every
let
year.
them lose every game, by the way.
Sure.
Let that be known.
There are people that give that kind of money every year to every school almost.
But it doesn't go right to a player.
It doesn't go right to the players. This is going right to the players, which is cool. I just think that what we'll have to get past, what I have to get past, my only real issue with it is like so many of these guys, they didn't build. They're popular on the backs of other players. You know what I mean? Like the starting quarterback at Florida State is important because of the 3 decades of guys that came before him. Jordan Travis, God love him, big fan of him, really.
You are.
He's won, everybody knows that. He's won 3 games in his career. 2 games maybe. 3 games in his career as a starting quarterback. But he's the Florida State quarterback, so he's really famous, especially in Tallahassee, and he's marketable. But he's marketable because of what Florida State was before he got there. That's my only, and that's not even a problem. It's just reality. It's just life. It's like, watching a Braves game and seeing Dansby Swanson doing Ford commercials. Dansby Swanson's hitting .219, but he's a Brave, so he's famous and he's notable and he's marketable. And that's the same with these guys. We'll see. Again, we'll talk about it, I'm sure, for the rest of our lives. But the next year will be really interesting to see how it shapes out. I have guys doing meet and greets, guys tweeting, guys promoting. I saw one guy, I can't remember. There was a journalist that just started a new website that hired a kicker that had never. Whoever does Extra Points. Maybe it's a guy that used to write for the Sporting News, but he has a newsletter called Extra Points, and he got a kicker from one of the Big Ten schools, I think, that's never missed an extra point to promote on Twitter. Nice. I'm like, man, that's fine. What do you think that guy paid him? $500, $1,000? I mean, we're fine. There's no lives being changed
I'm cool with that. That's clever. I like that.
But the worry is Phil Knight guaranteeing the Thibodeau kid a 6-figure endorsement deal that I think ends after the 2021 season. So he's the Thibodeau, who, if you guys remember, was a big-time recruit that Florida State went after Willie's first year. Yeah. He's from California. He's signed with Oregon. He's one of the best players in the country now. And Phil Knight is apparently putting $500,000 or who knows how much money he's putting in to give Kayvon Thibodeau, basically give him money. Like, does Nike really need Thibodeau autographs?
Like Master P giving his kid, congrats to my kid for signing this marketing deal with this website that has done nothing ever, but I actually bankroll the website. So Like it's like that's daddy ball. Like daddy ball is eliminated from everything.
But you wonder who's going to do that for Florida State? Are they ever going to get the spank? Would Florida State guys even advertise for spanks? I guess the linemen could. You got to find your big whale and start doing some stuff over the top, man. That's going to be my point. That's going to be hard to compete with now. Like Oregon could be a real player if they have a benefactor that's going to start giving 10 or 12 of the best players on the team 6-figure deals. Because Thibodeau's going to go pro in 5 months. He's going to be a millionaire really soon. Yeah. But Phil Knight's going to do this with Oregon's best freshman players too. And that's going to keep them very happy for the next couple of years. And that's something you might have to worry about. But, hey, the genie's out of the bottle, baby. We'll figure it out as we go.
Yeah, my doomsday scenario was just big urban areas that have, like SMU. Like SMU's pulled a 5-star recruit, the Alabama linebacker from Hawaii, or maybe it's Oregon linebacker that McKenzie was trying to get to come here. He's committed to SMU. Everyone's like, what's going on in SMU? SMU dropping the bag. And now Miami's doing this. When you get into these cities with bigger populations and more affluent alumni, what happens? Does a college town allure not matter anymore? Like if you can guarantee a kid that you're going to probably get close to $20,000 a year if you come to this school and you can live in a really cool city, or you can go live in a quote unquote college town if you want to use that as like a pejorative. Why not? Like, would you rather live in Dallas or College Station? Dallas is pretty cool, I bet.
I feel like people have been making those decisions, though, for the last 3-4 decades. Like, Miami has its own appeal, living in Miami, even though you're living in Coral Gables.
Yeah, but now you're getting, above the table, no anxiety. Like, I'm afraid to take this because I don't want my mom to get caught. I don't want my dad to get caught. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get Reggie Bush. But I can get above the table, like 25
But if you're
grand,
good enough, if you're good enough, you're getting offers. They're all lining up. Maybe not, and that's the thing I talked about on headlines. Like, can Jimbo stick with his no Twitter policy now? His no social media policy? Because now you're diving into people's marketability, legitimately.
There you go.
And if you're not going to let freshmen talk, you're diving into their marketability. This stuff is going to start mattering to recruits. But I think if you're good enough, if you're a 4-star kid and you're being recruited by 5 big-time programs, they're all going to have in their recruiting pitch, this is what we can do for you marketability-wise. This is what we've done in the past for a guy like you. And then you just make the decision there. I know it's weird to hear somebody talk like this about college football because the way we've all grown up and everybody's lived with it being cool, having bagmen. But maybe bagmen go by the wayside now. Or they deliver the bags in broad daylight and just hand them to the kid in the parking lot for everybody to see right after a game. Who knows? But it's, I keep using the word fascinating, but it's going to be fascinating. I think the players are still going to be the players. I mean, the big-time players in college football, the programs. There might be 1 or 2, and Oregon's a big one because of Phil Knight that I think is already a top 12 program that maybe in 5 or 6 years, it'll take a while to really grab foothold. No pun intended there, right? You see what I did there?
Yeah, man.
Nike?
Let's go.
I'm on a roll. But it might take a while to get a foothold, but Oregon could be the one that maybe takes a really big leap because of the Phil Knight factor.
I just can't wait for the first kid to take that photo, like Breaking Bad when the guy's laying on a pile of cash and just be like, blessed. Like hashtag blessed. Photo of a kid just 19-year-old.
Hashtag eat at Arby's.
Yeah. All right, moving along. Here we go. Random_John. Good day, Aslan and Corey. He says good morning, but it's evening now. What is it about student athletes getting paid that has people riled up? Oh, we just talked about it a little bit. Well, actually, we didn't talk about it. But, I mean, again, I know it sounds bad, but it's not what I'm used to. And I know the world's changing, and that's not a good explanation, but I'm just not used to it. We're talking about an industry where the product, that being athletes, generate billions of dollars, but the athletes get compensated very little compared to what is made. What other industry do you know where the product, people, are compensated next to nothing versus what the company makes from them? Again, man, we're coming into the nobody likes to hear you talking about a scholarship being worth money, but price it out, man. Price out the gear. Price out the food. You can't price out the experiences. You can't price out the marketability to help you find a job afterwards, the network that you have available to you versus a kid that's a liberal arts major. These things are worth money. You can't, I guess you can't buy a car with it, but there's huge value to it.
Even if you rolled your eyes at the actual going to the class, because we all know the deal, man. We all know how the sausage is made. Most of these kids at every big-time school would not be being pursued by these universities if they weren't good football players. We get it. In a lot of these football schools, almost all of them, just try to keep them eligible. They're not all that concerned about educating them, at least in the past. I shouldn't speak presently, certainly not about Norvell, but a lot of these schools are just worried about keeping them eligible, not really educating them. And when they use them for 4 years or 5 years, good luck. I think what you also have to keep in mind is they do get, even if you just roll your eyes at the classroom and the scholarship stuff and the books, the classroom stuff, they get free meals and free shelter for 5 years. Really good meals.
Really good shelter. Really nice living arrangements.
Sure, all that. That being said, it does not come close to the money that the coaches and administrators are making. Not even a sniff. You know what I mean? Is Norvell just going to be cool with a $6,000 stipend and all the honey fried chicken he can eat? Mm-mm. They're so I get it. It's just, again, I don't even want to go over.
What about the analysts? What about the analysts? Not the Randy Shannon analyst, but what about the 26-year-old analyst that's betting on himself, part of this money-making machine, making nothing? I mean, making
right, but what's he doing? What's he doing compared to my man Rashad Green? Yes, Rashad, huh? Yeah. He did. The analyst isn't making money. He's not. They're not selling his likeness in the school store. He's not scoring touchdowns. So that's the difference. I think these guys are, and he's not, getting injured and sweating for 3 hours a day. Maybe he's sweating probably because it's hot in Tallahassee, and I assume he's on the football field somewhere. But he's not working as hard physically as these football players are. So look, it is what it is, man. There's no reason even arguing about it. It's just
it's here. It's not changing.
That's where we're at. Yeah. That's where we're at. And I hope people don't confuse it. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with this at all. If you can make a money off your brand, quote unquote, and you can market a business is willing to give you money because of your name, then hey man, isn't that America? Isn't that what America is founded on? It's capitalism, man.
Bobby Jones makes $20,000 on a new agreement because half some portion of TV revenue and jersey sales are going to be. I'm fine with that. The cameo.
That's weird. It's weird that you're more against that, where Bobby Jones didn't have anything to do with the TV contract. But if Bobby Jones's name, if he can sell a cameo for $150 a pop, well, that's Bobby Jones did that. The reason Georgia gets $50 million a year isn't because out of TV money, isn't because of a freshman signee that just came in. It's because of all the guys that came before him. It's the Todd Gurleys and the Matt Staffords of the world, and everybody in the SEC for that matter. This is just a guy that's like, all right, if you can sell a happy birthday on Cameo for $150, why would the NCAA have any problem with that? People are willing to pay it. I don't know. People are willing to pay it.
Even before NIL.
When you were in college, and we were doing this show back in 2004, and you became famous, 2002, as well, you know what I mean, relatively famous,
right?
Right.
Local, famous. 850, Mr. 850,
big fish, small pond, right. Big fish, medium pond. If you could do cameos and make $100 on it as a college student, you can't tell me you wouldn't do it.
I know, but I'm just
all you have to do is a minute message.
I don't know. You're part of the brand of Florida State. Beyond I'm trying to build my own individual brand. You're part of Florida State University, and you're gonna hawk. You're part of Auburn, War Eagle, whatever. Our proud tradition, growing up on the plains, and you got freaking Bo Nix in the corner of his kitchen next to his fridge. When I'm home with my parents, I can't wait to see them. But even more so is drinking a delicious cup of Milo's tea.
Nothing wrong with that. Jimbo Fisher represents Florida State, and he's strolling through a jewelry store or driving a truck.
I'm not against the money. I'm against the means of earning the money. Give them money. Okay, figure out that's clever. Extra points. I'm gonna get an extra point kicker. Just this whole I don't. It's just listen. I'm losing it. I understand. You're all yelling. You hate it. I understand it. You're not gonna change my mind. I know I'm trying to change your
good.
mind.
I
So
hope
it's
we
not
do this
fair.
every show then.
I'm not. Even before NIL, random_John continues, the system was not equitable based on scholarships alone. Comparing tuition at Duke versus Florida State, $59,000 a year at Duke versus $18,000 for Florida State based on a quick Google search. This is not adding room and board. Should FSU athletes then be compensated $41,000 a year to even things out and keep things fiscally fair? I think he's talking about the difference between Duke education and FSU education. After all, prior to NIL, the argument was protecting the sanctity of the student athlete. With the argument against NIL, shouldn't we want equitable education costs, athletic spending, coaches' salaries, etc., to keep things, quote, amateur? That way no one has an advantage beyond geography. Well, the education, you can't do that, man, because there is a difference between what a Harvard degree is and what a St. Angelo State University degree is too, man. We can't do that. Now, the coaches' salaries, you want to go after that, you're going to find a huge champion with Corey. But
well, look, man, I just, if we all took a step back and thought about, there's a lot of people in their 40s.
Hold on real quick. Let me just finish this point, and then you can button it up. I'm sorry. Yet here we are. We all have to adapt or get left behind. If having athletes upsets individuals so much, they can always go to intramural fields and watch people play games while not getting paid and more than likely not on a full ride scholarship. Oh, yeah, drink the Luna coffee. Not doing so may create the butterfly effect that brings about the end of the world.
Two things. First off, very well reasoned. Sorry we interrupted your question for 5 minutes there, Random John. The GHSA, the Georgia High School Association, came out with their NIL rules, and unfortunately we will not be able to have Travis Hunter as a spokesman this year. As he goes into his senior year, they do not allow that. The only money you can make is as a camp counselor. You can't make any money off your name, image, and likeness from a company paying you for your athletic ability. So, sorry, everyone. And then I was going to say, but going back to the main point about just college and expenses, and it's completely maybe not even in the realm of what we're talking about, but anybody that's in their 40s or late 30s, or certainly somebody in their 50s or 60s, go research how much college is now compared to what it was when we went to school.
All right.
It is outrageous.
It
is just outrageous.
I was on Florida Bright Futures, which paid 75% of your tuition. I would take 12 credit hours a semester when it wasn't summer. And I remember like the check that my dad would cut was not even $700 for 12 credit hours.
Yeah.
And that's a book now. That's 2 books.
Well, also, number one, you can't get into Florida State now. And that's not a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, I couldn't get into Georgia now either. Like, the average GPA is like 4.2. I mean, I didn't have a 3.2 in high school. I'd have to jump up a full point. I mean, there's no chance. College is getting more and more restrictive and expensive. And hopefully sometime in the next 5 years we can reverse course, because I know that has really, I mean, I know deep down it has something to do with NIL and everything else and what's equitable and what isn't. But holy moly, just college in general is ridiculously expensive.
You're psyched, huh? You're starting to think about Brady already? You got some
I got
plans
something working for him. You know, I've got something that I've had since he was a kid that's supposedly making money, but I don't know, it might cover a semester. I thought I was covering a couple years with this bad boy, and it might cover a semester now. But again, he'll be on scholarship, so it'll be fine.
All right, last one. It's our guy Daryl in Thomasville, North Carolina. Captain D _ 63. Nice. Wake up, Warchanters. Corey and Aslan. Hope you two are doing well. We've heard from some of the incoming freshmen about their weight gain and how their summer workouts are going. Most of the time, these guys are redshirted because they need a year to get their body in shape and get used to school life. That being said, is there any freshmen in this class you think can contribute on offense and defense? I can pull up the incoming class.
Like he's talking about playing both?
No. I guess he was. Do we think anyone can contribute on both sides? Like just pick one, I guess, from each side. Not like Shohei.
Either one of the receivers. I know Destin Hill isn't going to be here, but McClain or Burrell. I think either one of those. It may be, honestly, Jackson West at tight end. It's going to be hard for a lineman. Obviously, I don't expect a quarterback.
Bro, we got so many tight ends, though, Corey. I mean, I know they're not on scholarship, but like Cam McDonald, Jordan Wilson, Kobe Gross, David Stickle or Sticky. who's the guy? Preston Daniel, Jackson.
Yeah.
They've got to. I mean,
Hey man,
grief,
but if
the
you're
amount of
good,
H-backs.
hey, you know what? All I'm going to say,
White
and this
Rector.
might be the last time I make this comparison. But Florida State had a lot of running backs in 1993 when this little guy from New Orleans showed up and tried and told him, "Give me a week at running back, and if you don't like me, put me at DB." Next thing you know, Warwick Dunn's scoring game-winning touchdowns. That's all I'm saying. I might not ever compare Jackson West to Warwick Dunn again, but if you're good enough, buddy, you'll fly up the depth chart, no matter how many people are on it.
Looking at the list, which I have the luxury of and Corey does not, and I wouldn't remember these names if I didn't have it in front of me, which, whatever. Sorry, everybody. Kevin Noles is the guy that we all like. I think he made the top 40.
Yep.
So he's a true freshman.
Yeah.
I do like Byron Turner, who we spoke to on Wednesday. And Joshua Farmer was running second-team defensive end, I think, most of spring. At least he was fairly sure in the Garnet and Gold spring game or whatever they call it nowadays. I mean, you want to talk about contribute. I don't know what he's going to produce, but, I mean, he's a guy that, in the fourth quarter of a sweltery game in September is probably going to get run out there and play a handful of snaps. So
Yeah.
at least those are names you should probably get familiar with. But in terms of, maybe producing, Malik McClain's probably up there, and then I would say Kevin Knowles. She showed a nose for the ball.
I like that Kevin Knowles is just it's similar to the Jackson West, and there's so many dudes in there. But the way he played in the spring game, really the way he played all spring that I saw him. I saw 4 or 5 practices maybe, but he flashed a handful of times. And in the spring game, I thought he was the best DB on the field. You got to figure he'll get some run this year, so that's probably a good pick. But it's just he's going to have to beat out some guys.
Second question, are either of you surprised how the coaching staff is recruiting so far? Yes.
Absolutely.
Do you believe Coach Fuller can turn this defense around enough this year to keep his job and to keep these commits? As always, subscribe to warchant.com, drink your DeLuna coffee, hit the thumbs up button, and go Noles, beat Notre Dame.
Yes, I think he can. Sure, right?
It's possible.
Well, I mean, I think,
Possible.
it's not like it would be improbable for him to do a good enough job to keep his job. It's just got to look a lot better, a lot better than what we saw last year, because that was abysmal, but it was also a crazy season, and he does get the benefit of the doubt. That benefit will run out, I don't know, midnight, September 7th. When is the Notre Dame game?
It would be the 6th. They play on the 5th, Sunday.
Okay, so yeah,
right? We play
midnight,
on Sunday,
September
right?
6th.
It's on Sunday, right?
Shanna's birthday, September 6th.
Cool
Also, September 6th is the date where what was his name? Rodriguez? Who was the guy that gets killed at the beginning of A Few Good Men?
Oh, I don't
Private Santiago.
Santiago.
I don't know the dress habits of Private Santiago. That was when he was killed, was September 6th. So there you go.
Oh, when's yours and Stephanie's anniversary?
Memorial Day-ish, right
So
around there.
that
I don't know
was
if we have
rude.
a
I shouldn't have
firm. Also, September 6th, another little bit of Shanna birthday trivia. Cal Ripken broke the Lou Gehrig record on September 6th.
All right. I remember.
So two big. Santiago getting killed because of the Code Red, and then Cal Ripken breaking Lou Gehrig's record.
And Brady Clark's mother being born.
That too. So 3 huge things.
It happens.
6-6. No, 9-6. Sorry. I
don't
don't
wanna
even
call
remember. But don't you think Fuller can? Look, I'm not saying I expect it, but I'm also not going into a season expecting a coach to be fired. I think it's not a clean slate. It can't be. We saw last year. So it's not like you can just wipe our brains like Men in Black. Yeah. We did all see it. So it will, I don't know, inform our opinion this season as well. But if they have a decent defense and are middle of the pack, I think that's a pretty good I don't know that you fire them for a middle of the road defense, considering where it came from the last 2 years.
But it's not a high bar to clear, but you still have to move up a lot of spots. I understand, like, going from 25th to top 5 defense is tough. Going from 109 to 60 is probably much easier.
Yeah, it's like somebody that's a really fat person that's losing weight. When you're 450 pounds, if you just stand up and walk to the fridge every day, you're going to lose some weight. It's true. If you walk half a mile every day, the weight will start shedding off you because you're active. But once you get to like 350 or 300, it gets harder. You actually got to work more and more. So it's all, you always hear people talk about, I'm trying to get down to 200. These final 10 have been really hard.
Right.
So it's like, it's not that hard to go from 109 to 70. You just got to give up 411 yards per game and 26 points instead of 35 or whatever they gave up last year.
That's a crazy. It's kind of icky to think about this team goes 7-5 and you bring the whole band back together. But it's also hard to say fire somebody after you went 3-6 and now you're 7-5.
Yeah, and you got to have somebody in mind that's better. You know what I mean? Don't just fire to fire. Right. I don't care. Go behind. Hire a search firm. Please don't hire search firms. Know people. Talk amongst yourselves. But if you got somebody in place that you think can do a better job, then go get them. That was one of my biggest problems with Jimbo, as everybody knows at the end of his tenure. There is no way he thought he had the best assistant coaches he could get. There's no way. And in fact, look at who he took to A&M when money was not an option. None of those guys, one or two guys came with him. So then why were they good enough for Florida State? So if you have a chance to go get somebody that you know is an upgrade in your heart, go make an upgrade. And that goes really at every position, but certainly at DC. As we talked about when the hire was made, the two most important hires he had, O-line coach and DC. O-line coach, he seems to have knocked it out of the park.
Really like it.
DC, jury is still out. Jury is still deliberating.
It's kind of it's nearly the inverse of, as good as I feel about Alex Atkins, it's like Adam Fuller is kind of the inverse with my worry, my anxiety.
Yeah. But let's see what it looks like, man, when he has the guys on campus for a full year, guys that have bought in because they wouldn't be here if they weren't. But they took over. They took over guys that were some of them were 2 staffs ago, and some of them just didn't want to be here or didn't want to play for him or didn't believe in him. So let's see if the communication is better. They look like they're not playing with 8 guys on the field, but actually in a full 11, and see how they respond. I mean, it's obviously a very important year for him. It's not year 1. You know what I mean? I know people want to think of last year as year 0, and you can give Norvell, you can give everybody a little bit of benefit of the doubt, but we all saw what we saw. So it's got to be a significant upgrade, but he can do it. There is some talent there. It's experienced talent. It's just guys that haven't been here very long.
Good preemptive defense of Adam Fuller with the, he's coaching guys that he didn't necessarily recruit, might not have been sold out for him and, bought into his vision. So give him a chance to win some guys over and see how they perform. Yeah. My thing is just that the defense did not look any better at the end of the year. And for me, that makes me, I think that's less a product of guys not buying it. That's more of a product of guys not understanding what you want them to do.
Yeah, could be.
The absorption of the concepts is not going through. Now, do you have kids that don't understand well? Possibly. But when you, as a defensive coordinator, man, you have to figure out a way with your staff to make guys not play 15 yards off the ball on 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 4 from the goal line.
Right.
That's what concerns me. And then there's just, I like on the surface what they've been able to do, bringing in Jermaine Johnson to a certain degree. Kier Thomas gives you an option on your starting front 4. Jamie Robinson, more I talk about, I think like Jamie Robinson is he doesn't have he's further away from the ball, so he won't be able to impact the game as much as a sack master could. But I don't know if Jermaine Johnson will be the sack master. We're all hoping. I just think Jamie Robinson will be really solid playing back there. But the concern, as I'm like trying to figure out where it was on my train of thought here, is that there's the lack of depth, Corey. Just the front 4, man. I like the first 4 guys. After that, we saw it during the spring game, and there was a big drop off, man. That's what concerns you, linebacker. I'm not that big of a linebacker guy, so they are what they are. But it just, I don't know. You can't keep the same 11 guys out there for 85 snaps. You just can't. And then what happens when a guy?
And that's again, that's something that Fuller had to deal with last year. Is a very, very underperforming and bad defensive line. Right? I mean, it was just bad. Yeah. And at the end of the year, it was inexperienced. Like all the guys that they thought were experienced that were going to be good, a few of them weren't playing. And you had Dennis Briggs out there who had opted out at the beginning of the season. Yep. So you just had some young, inexperienced guys that clearly weren't ready to play, that were forced into action. And that also was happening a lot in the secondary and linebacker, for crying out loud. It was all over the field. It just feels like he's got a few more groceries to work with and guys that have experience that are ready to play. Now, will they be good? Will they be good enough for him to keep his job? Tune in. September 6th show.
It's going to be a good one.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait.
It's going to be the highest rated one. I can almost guarantee you of it. All right, that's a wrap for us here on Wake Up Warchant. We'll be back with shows accordingly as needed. He's Corey. I'm Aslan. Thanks for listening to Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee. Come explore our world of coffee. DeLuna Coffee features over 24 different blends. DeLuna's unique roasts can be delivered ground finely for drip coffee makers, coarse for the craft crowd, untouched as a whole bean, or even in convenient K-Cups. Founded in 2014 by the Lemmix family, Ed and Brett are FSU alums and boosters who are extending a special offer to all listeners. Use the promo code WARCHANT15 for a 15% discount. Visit DeLunaCoffee.com and check out their Facebook and Instagram.